I love poetry, and I love the way the poetry can sting. I love the way the poetry can swim in our minds and our souls, the way poetry can be what envelops us and casts a light inside us that we show outwards to others, and they see a single person standing freely alone in a vast ocean of no one around them, and they go. They try the poetry, they share it, they give it away, they let it float out into the air, they let it simmer and so can see what comes back, because sometimes that's what they care. They want to see what happens when somebody says something about what they do. They want to see what happens when somebody says they heard a poem about you, about me, about someone, about what was what they were thinking on their mind. Poetry is that way. It can be something that helps someone get out of tough times. And if poetry is something that you love too, and poetry is something you believe, can also be the things that you can sing too. Poetry is song too. Poetry is that way. Poetry is also the way that stories can sway and say. I'm the poet who doesn't know how to tell a story isn't true. I'm the poet who can go ahead and tell a story or two. I'm the poet who knows how to say things outside of the lines. That's true. I'm the poet who can make the box bigger just by giving my poetry to you. And if I'm the poet like that and you're the poet like that too, then we're two types of poet that can do what words are meant to do, and that's to help people grow. That's to help this world grow, and has to help the world show a new way of thinking. When poetry is something that does that too, it can spark ideas and it can spark different ways of thinking after just reading a poem one time, and then two. Each time you read a poem, sometimes you feel different the moment that you read it. It's true, and you'll think about different things and read the poem differently. It's not untrue. You're the one who can read a poem one time and then say, I felt this way and it made me feel better about that day, or made me feel more about the better that I heard in the poem when I read it to me. Or maybe I heard someone read a poem to me and say something about, see, that poem is you, and that's the poem talks about too. It talks about you and talks about the way that it might be, what you might believe is not inside of you because you've never heard it, and then a poem strikes you, right, and it shares with you the real truth of you, because it shares with you how you can be the true you, the true self that comes out when you're the one who believes in poetry, and also in the words that you can hear others say to you, maybe. Poetry is that way. It builds, it molds, it shapes, it takes, and it makes a greater day by being the poems and the words that grow life into a better existence and understanding of life. Understanding life, the dark times too, the dark days and the dark ways is something poetry can make someone understand too. Poetry can also tear down, is what God says is true. Poetry can be something that hurts and makes words that hurt be what you hear when you hear poetry that you don't need to hear. It's true. Poetry, like anything else that can build and build and build. It can also take things down too. Words are that way because it can take away. When we think about poetry in that way, I ain't gonna talk about poetry that way. But poetry is something that I love, and I know it's true. It's a part of just communicating in the way I tried to do. And I learned a little bit about poetry. It's true from God. God's the one who talked to me in poetry the first time I heard him talk to me a few years back. That's true. It didn't scare me. It just didn't feel wrong. I didn't know it was him talking to me all along. It was first sounded like Dr. Zeus, just a voice in my head talking I can't even do it now, Dr. Zeus. But it was God the whole time. It's true. And he was the one who was telling me about things I needed to know to help me to learn things that he wanted me to learn. And so in poetry was some way he talked to me. He also talks to me in regular tones and regular ways too. But God talks to everyone too. It's true that God can talk to you in that same way. And when God loves to sing to us, and he loves to sing to children, babies, that's how he talks to them, is what he says. Yeah, trust that that's true. I love to talk to babies and sing songs, what he says. I love to do. So if you love poetry and like I love poetry, then we love poetry in the same and in a different way. And you can share your poetry with me and I'll share it with you like I do here. And I hope that you don't mind me sharing the poetry that I love to share too. And sometimes it's different, sometimes it's different too. And so I've been trying to do a little bit different. That's what I want to try and do. Love for different poetry and songs too. Now learning how to play that guitar, kind of plucking it away a little bit, like maybe way not good as many of you probably is true. So if I say to you, this poem is not a poem, it's poetic speak, then I'll tell you about the poetic speak that I got inside of me. The poetic speaks an ambition to share the way that God says people can share, just like I do, even better, more better. And there's our more better. The more better is not a word. It's true. More better is just a way to compound something that sounds more better when you say what it's more, the more better is that you're talking about. It's true. So if I say true to you, it means it's true. As far as I know, it's true. Regardless of one who's saying it's true to me, just so that I know that I said something right. He said, yeah, you were right. You said true. It's true. I love to share the things I share in a way that sometimes it scares to share. And when it scares to share, it feels a little comfortable to share, to try something new, try something different, try to go a little further than I do. To be natural in the way that I do what I do, still a little bit something I haven't learned quite yet to do. It's true. God tells me it's true. And it can be a lot better too. He says the more you practice anything, the better you're going to be at it. It's true. Yeah.